now we got Starscream. And Starscream, according to John Warden, he's like, this is the first time this character has been done in this alt mode. That's kind of like a yes and no answer, because we had the Titaniums line that kind of did the War Within Tetra Jet kind of look. It wasn't 100% how it looked in the Generation 1 cartoon, but it kind of barked up that same tree. Even if you look back at, let's say, even the Cybertron line, they kind of did that also, like where it kind of turned into that jet, but not quite. If we're going to go with John's words here, it's more so that this is the first time we've had a conscious effort to make a 100% Generation 1 accurate pre-Cybertron Starscream Tetra Jet mode. And, same thing here.
Without counting Impossible Toys.
Yeah, well, without counting third party, of course.
Yeah.
He mentions here also that it's going to feature the null rays as part of his accessories. There was a strong effort that despite the fact that it turns into something that isn't a jet this time, that it's still, just like the Megatron, even though the alt mode is something completely different, they're still trying to do a robot mode that still looks like it turns into the jet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So, which was, again, something that because of the limited animation models that they had to work with, like you had like Jazz that was a hovercraft, in pre-Cybertron, he transforms and he still has that Porsche chest. You know what I mean? Just, because they're like, well, this is only going to be one scene. Why are we going to, why
are we going to reinvent the wheel here? What's the point?
Give all these robot modes, these different details, might as well just go with it. So, but again, it's really cool that we have that Tetra Jet mode, and yet you look at Starscream in robot mode, and again, if you would have just been shown that robot mode and say, what does he turn into? You would have said that F-14, F-15 jet there. So it's pretty cool that they made that conscious effort. And again, another toy that you look at it and you look at like Masterpiece toys and you're going like, there's a lot of, engineering similarities. Now, granted, this is a Voyager, this one. I believe so. That's what they said here. Yeah, it's a Voyager. Yeah. And they again made an effort to kind of keep a scale among the characters. But on top of that, it's like it's a Voyager, but it has a lot of that really good engineering, and it just makes people look and go like, man, like there's a lot of really good stuff going on here for Siege and for War for Cybertron here, and it's very hopeful. It's very hopeful, and the Starscream, I mean, there's not much that can be said about it outside of we've had those posters that I mentioned in our Omega Supreme segment, and how we see in that poster, oh, there's Thundercracker. Yeah. So is there going to be a Thundercracker? If I was a betting man,
bet your sweet ass there's going to be a Thundercracker.
There's going to be a Skywarp. Judging,
I feel there's always going to be a Thundercracker before the Skywarp. That's how they always usually kind of do it right now.
Skywarp's going to be more difficult to find, or it'll be a store exclusive, Walgreens or
more
whatever.
Limited or something like that.
They always do that. And on top of that, also considering that the Cyberverse line right now is really building up a army of licensed seeker names like Nova Storm and Slipstream and Acid Storm and Sunstorm. So now you have all of those too, that if you need to dip into that, let's say, this mold sells very well, or they want to do something different, or they want to do a box set for for a future convention and want to put a weird character in that attached to this mold, you could do a Sunstorm, you could do an Acid Storm. You could retool this and have our first ever Cybertronian Slipstream per se. That character has never been depicted that way. Or Nova Storm, the new female character from Cybertron. So there's a lot going on here, but it's something that I know a lot of fans are going to really like. It hits everything that a G1 fan would want, in that it gives us that classic Episode 1 Tetra Jet look, but if you get that robot mode, it's G1 Starscream. It's G1 Starscream to a T. So this is great. Definitely look forward to this too. Again, it'll be the Voyager price point, so it won't be like crazy expensive. We had a few leader class Starscreams in the past that were definitely clogging the shelves at one point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Him and Skywarp at one point, that leader class Starscream was just everywhere, and no one asked for that. I guess the best way to it was like
ladies love Starscream. Remember that, fellas.
Well, because it was that Jetfire mold that they turned into Starscream, and just wasn't needed. So this is really cool, and I mean, if it plays up that War for Cybertron kind of history, it's scientist Starscream. Maybe we'll get a Jetfire down the line or something, and that'll be really cool to be an accompanying piece.
You think that would be like that'll be the go-to retool? Is it going to be Jetfire now because of that connection from before?
I think that if this line keeps going and it keeps with that same pre-Earth kind of trend, I could see Jetfire returning to be a leader class character. And Jetfire in the past has had Cybertronian-based alt mode toys. The very first Classics toy was kind of based off of that. The Titaniums one was kind of based off of the Don Figueroa design. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do something like that. If they didn't, I wouldn't be disappointed because there's so much to do here. But if they did do that, I could kind of see him being more of a leader class and then playing that up more and, giving us more Macross homages now they could get away with it and stuff. So, but yeah, pretty cool.